Good morning, everyone. It's Cynthia. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Um, I'm here today with your daily tarot card of the day. And this week we are using the Winged Spirit Tarot. And I've got information about that in the description box below. Just so you know, I'm tapping into collective energies, general energies for the day. So these messages are timeless. Whenever you happen to find it, there's likely something here for you. But take what resonates and leave the rest. I invite you all to tune into your own intuition, your own inner guidance, higher self, spirit guides, so that whatever card comes up, you might receive your own personal messages and insights. Oh, so Spirit, what's for today's energy? Okay. Whew. The Devil. Fascinating. I feel like this energy of getting hung up on something that, I don't want to say temptation. What are we getting hung up on? Hung up on a cycle of our old selves that we just can't seem to shake. So if we've been making it's the energy of, for example, someone who's trying to make a particular change, shift a mindset, shift a habit, change their schedule, trying to incorporate something new, or trying to like switch something out. Like, well, instead of doing that, I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to start to do this. But running into like those personal challenges that sort of always call us back into the old way of doing it, just because we know it comes easy to us. It's like second nature. It's a habit, right? Habitually doing things one way, and then now we have to make an adjustment. It could be like a SOP or at work, or an operating procedure or protocol or something at work, and it's always been done this way. We're used to doing it that way, but now they've added in this extra layer or this extra step, or they're asking for this, that, the other thing, and now we kind of have to tweak what we've always done a little bit, or we have to do it entirely differently, and in order to be efficient, and so I'm feeling like this falling back into old patterns or old ways of doing things. Like, most of the time we get it to where we want it, but there's that small percentage of time where we keep tripping up, or we keep like catching ourselves and then having to go back. So it could be something as simple as a learning curve. If you're in the early stages of making a change or doing something differently, it could just be the learning curve thing. So go easy on yourself, because you will be able to, if you start judging yourself for it, you're going to be stuck and you're not going to be able to do it differently, right? If you stop judging yourself for it and you just kind of recognize that it might be a learning curve, then you will, by giving yourself that grace, by being a little bit gentle, by just being in observation and experimentation without judgment, you give yourself the chance to sort of grow through the process of learning something different. In that way, it really seems kind of simple and straightforward. The general energy today, there seems to be something that comes up that's like tripping us up, and we might be fully aware of what it is, and even that it's there, but we still trip over it, for whatever reason. It could be from hypervigilance and hyperfocus. like by trying so hard to not do that thing, we make it bigger, which means that we almost set ourselves up for a particular interaction or a particular thing. So while you work with whatever this energy is today that could come up as a blessing or a challenge, it could also come up as a realization of like, oh wow, I thought I still had a problem with this, or that I was still working on this, but now I'm feeling free. So it could be like breaking the chains and actually recognizing like, oh, I don't have to do it that way. I'm going to do it the new way. You know what I mean? We think we're going to go back into an old pattern, and we actually recognize it and decide to step back and be like, yeah, no, that's because that's not going to work. This makes way more sense. I'll do it this way. So there could be that as well, the recognition that we've learned our way past something, or that we've outgrown something, and that we really are ready to let it go. Or, you know, we really have learned our way through that, and we think we're going to trick ourselves up, but we end up not. So this energy could play out in a couple of different ways, and it's either going to be that recognition that you've learned it, you've moved on, you've, you know, broken free of the chains of whatever this old way of thinking or being or doing was working on. Or you're going to have that opportunity to like lend yourself some grace, recognize the learning curve, be gentle with yourself, because you will get it. You will. And if you feel like, you know, it's been too long, in one sense, I'd say again, step out of judgment and lend yourself some grace, and lend yourself some gentility and some compassion. In another sense, I would say maybe you aren't ready to make that change. You know, you don't have to force yourself just because, you know, you might think in no particular way, but if your heart's not in it, maybe you have to take a step back and say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to force it. We'll ease into it. I can always try again. I can always try another experiment another time. Like, you know what I mean? There could be that opportunity to just go easy on yourself, not giving yourself a free pass, not keeping yourself tied up and chained to, you know, a bad habit or a bad situation, so to speak, but just relieve the pressure for a minute. Because when you do that for an hour, 2 hours a day, and you let it sort of slip your mind, if you're still focused in other ways on, you know, moving forward, improving yourself, growing, developing, if you're open to it, then Spirit's going to bring you that opportunity to try again, and you might find yourself successful again. You know what I mean? By coming at it from a different angle. But if you hang on to it because you know you have to, and you know you should, and you do really want to, but it's so hard, and you squeeze onto that, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to squeeze the hell out of it. So to unchain yourself, sometimes you have to like not fight the chains. That's funny. They just showed me that that scene from Harry Potter, the first one. Sorry. The kids and I just watched it not long ago. But that scene where they were going in to find and they got tangled up in the weeds. It's in the very first movie. And Hermione figured out what the vine was. And she said, you know, you have to relax. When you relax, then the vine lets you go. But the more you struggle, the more you fight it, the more afraid or even tense that your body gets, then the more it'll squeeze you and it'll choke you. So, you know, we see Hermione and Harry go through eventually, but then like Ron gets stuck in it because he's scared and he's nervous and he's just not, you know, not relaxing. In a certain sense, that's kind of like, so go easy on yourself, because if you keep struggling and fighting, you know, then maybe you be causing yourself more tension than is necessary, and it's not going to get done. If you go easy, give yourself some grace, give yourself some gentility, then with that loosening up, the clarity will come through. What your next step is, when you should try again, what was the real roadblock, and oh, that's what kept tripping me up. And then you go at it from a different angle. You know what I mean? So today's the day of, instead of leaning directly into the rough spaces, it's more of like, let the rough spaces be, because you're going to be shown how to handle that if you stop focusing on it, as opposed to if you hyper focus on it. Wonderful. Have an excellent day. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and thank you so much for being here. Peace and blessings, everyone.